Welcome to my podcast where I'll be speaking with guests candidly about interesting topics. So join me on Candid with Kimbra.
Hi, Phil Sterling.
Yep, stage name Phil
Yeah,
Sterling.
do you mind saying your real last name?
Yeah, yeah. So my real name is Filip Pejcinovic,
Okay.
but it's a really long last name, and I always thought it was cool. To in the news world, I mean, people have stage names, and I just thought it was cool. So that's why I picked Phil Sterling. Uh, my original name is long, but I could have used it anyways. But I don't know. I just thought it's cool
I
to have a stage name.
I like your real name. I do because I like it because it's kind of cool and ethnic sounding. But
hmm
it is it's hard sometimes when I look at it. I'm like, how do you say it again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
Uh,
your parents are from a part of Russia, is somewhere? Is that what it is?
yeah. So like I'm half Croatian, half Serbian. Although like my family basically, my mother and father were raised in Bosnia.
Oh.
Bosnia was all those countries were involved in like this big civil war,
Mhm.
but basically when the war broke out, they moved to Germany. My
Mhm.
mother and father,
Mhm.
and they had me there. I actually was born in Germany. Yeah, and they were living in a van for like 3
Down by the
years.
river? A van down by the river? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, literally, like, he played guitar on the street.
Oh,
That's how my
wow.
dad made
I
money,
was just
yeah.
kidding. That's so cool.
No, yeah, that actually happened. And then they got, admitted into the US based on, like, mixed marriage. So
Mm,
because, like, that war had, like, ethnic division, you know what I mean? It was
mhm,
dangerous to be, like, one or the other in
mhm,
either country, in
mhm,
either, like, Serbia, Croatia, or Bosnia, where there was, like, a lot of fighting. So
mhm.
we just came on over here, and we came to Arizona, first. We were in Tucson, and that was like it was hot. My parents were like, "It is way too hot here," so they heard from somebody that Orange County is great, and they just went down there.
Hence
And
the Orange County connection. I know. So how old were you when so Orange County was the first place you went to, but
mhm.
how old were you when you actually moved to Orange County?
Oh, geez, I was probably like maybe I think I was like 5. It all happened pretty fast, like 5 or 4 or something, or maybe even 3 years old.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Are you an only child
No,
or?
no, no, 5 or 4 because we were in the van for like 3 years. So yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow. I mean, I really didn't know about the van story, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to make fun
mhm.
of you, but it was like,
Oh no, I think it's a cool story. I'm a
oh,
skater. I love like van life and stuff. I never got to go on a skate trip in a van or something, but
oh,
I
awesome.
think
No,
that's
I
cool.
know you have that side of you that's very. So, for our listeners, I was going to tell a little bit about our history here because you and I
Mhm.
both worked for this YouTube channel in Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
How would you describe that channel, by the way?
Dang, like HB33 was probably a mix of just like more centralized, like local HB
Hmm.
news,
Hmm.
that wasn't just crime. Now
Right.
that I'm looking back at it from like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reporting standpoint, it felt like a real like community like channel.
Hmm.
Um, it was more right wing. Like Joel would, he would have a take like, oh, like California is too left and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But a lot of the news that we did was just news,
Right.
that was going on in Huntington Beach, and yeah,
That's
uh,
interesting that you should say that because I was going to get into that a little bit later. But so, yeah, I guess I never really looked at it as being more right wing, but you might be right about that. I feel like Joel, shout out to Joel Tiger,
mhm,
is a um, he's kind of a conservative, more of a libertarian, maybe
mhm.
libertarian. And I know he was trying to present the news in a nonpartisan way in a
And
way.
I think he did. I think he did.
Hmm.
I just think that there was like, sometimes he would say something like, the California's like communist or something like that. Like
Oh, wow.
technically, like California, isn't communist or whatever.
Of
but
course.
he would like, because it was also like kind of a comedic channel too. It
Hmm.
wasn't like completely meant to be taken seriously.
Sure.
Um,
Very tongue in cheek to a certain degree.
yeah, like tongue in cheek.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, but when it came to like reporting the news on what was actually going on, we did that, and I'm proud of what I did there.
Oh, I know.
Especially like,
And he was proud when he found you. We discovered you.
oh yeah, no, I'm super thankful for both of you.
Oh,
Especially like the story we did on the 50% homeless shelter that was like empty.
that's
That was, yeah, there was like important stories that needs to be covered, and I think that we did cover it. And I think that bigger stations like the real news stations,
right, right.
um, was or like they just had a lot on their plate probably, and they can't cover everything all the time, because they cover like LA County, Orange County, and then all like other counties. It's much wider than just
That's
Huntington
true.
Beach, right? So,
That's true. Like
yeah.
we covered a smaller area, so that gave you a freedom to take a little more time with the stories, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and okay, so the other thing that we have in common is that you went to Cal State Fullerton. So did I.
Mhm. There you go. Titans.
Huh?
Some Titans.
Yeah,
We're
woo!
Titans. Yeah.
I was telling my friend the other day. She was talking about this Kevin Costner movie, and she was like, "He's good looking," and I go, "Yeah, if I ever met him, I could say I went to we had the same alma mater because he went to Cal State Fullerton too. Like,
Oh, he did.
yeah, way back
Okay.
in the day. He's
Huh.
like the big celebrity. Like I had a music professor once who said, "Yeah, Kevin Costner went here." I don't even know
Mhm.
where he graduated, but I know it
Mhm.
was at least 20 years ago. So at least.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, so yeah, I liked Cal State Fullerton. I know,
Yeah.
maybe some people might give it a bad rap, but I liked it a lot. Did you?
Yeah, I loved Cal State Fullerton. There wasn't like, I mean, the people that are probably criticizing it are probably saying it's not like it's like more of a commuter school than
Sure.
like probably, I guess, UCLA or something.
Right.
Yeah, we had like for the amount of money that you pay for Cal State Fullerton, it's great. There was like great teachers there.
I know. I
Um,
loved my teacher there.
huh?
I loved my teachers there, and I actually personally went there because it was close to where I grew up, and so I could stay at the house where I grew up, and also the music department was pretty good. Even actually Fullerton Community College had a really good music department, so I used to take music classes there too. But if I went to some other schools that I was thinking about going to Claremont, and they didn't have music, as I recall. So for me, it was important. I needed to be taking music classes. That's why I ended up going to Cal State Fullerton. But I loved it. I don't think it was, to be honest, I don't to be honest with you, I don't think it was the most beautiful campus, but it
Mhm.
was a great college. Like it
Yeah,
just, but they
I,
improved it.
I like the colors too,
Oh,
like
you
blue
do?
and white.
Okay, see, there you go.
Yeah, blue and white and like orange. It's cool. I don't know.
I liked. I just thought it was a little newish looking. Not newish. It was a little
Mhm.
too like beigey. All the buildings. Like I wish it could have been a little older looking. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, it has like a more modern type.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's more, yeah,
But
but it
other
is
than
what it
that, I loved it. And oh wait, yeah. And the other bad thing was the parking. The parking was really horrible.
is. Yeah, the parking. Oh my God. When I moved here, the parking's so good in Greensboro.
Oh my God, you're so
Yeah,
lucky, right?
because there aren't that many people here. Yeah,
I
so
know. Okay, which leads
yeah.
me to my next question. What city are you in North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm in Greensboro right now. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Greensboro Five, I believe it is. You might have heard, they're in a lot of history books that in like high schools. It was like the five black men that went to a bar that was supposed to be for whites only, or like a diner, and they like put like food over their heads and stuff. I don't know if you've ever read that, because they were black and they weren't allowed in there. And that happened in this city. It's pretty crazy.
Really? How long
Yeah.
ago? How long ago was that?
Like, I think sometime around segregation near its end, like the civil rights movement, like Martin Luther King era stuff.
Okay, so like in the 60s, maybe in
Yeah,
late
like 60s,
early 60s.
50s or something like that. Yeah.
Oh wow,
So,
I didn't realize that. Wait, okay, so I've been to North Carolina, but I've only been to Asheville. And
oh, beautiful.
I know, I loved Asheville. I got to sing there last year and it was so beautiful. Well, you know, where Tennessee and North Carolina and all those places meet, I was staying in that area, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, that little area. Yeah,
Yeah, they
I know
all
what you're talking
because you have to go over like this grapevine to get into Asheville
about.
from Tennessee, I believe it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
Georgia. Oh, I was in three different places where they all kind of cross.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Um,
but anyway, so you like it sounds like you like it there though, huh?
oh, yeah, it's great here. It's just too far from family, but it's the weather is it gets really hot, it gets cold, but there's seasons here, which as a California kid, I just didn't know about. But there are seasons. Yeah, it gets cold. You actually need jackets. In the fall, it's beautiful because everything turns orange here.
Oh wow, the
Uh,
leaves, yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of leaves. So, um, and the city sizes are pretty good. Like Greensboro's like 350,000. Winston-Salem, which is like a half an hour away, is like 250,000. There's like a million people like amongst these three cities that are near each other here called the Triad. So
Oh yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty good. And like Charlotte, which is the biggest city
Oh
in
yes.
North Carolina. Yeah, Charlotte's like an hour away. Raleigh is like an hour away. So it's really not bad. It's just at this point in my life, I do want to live in a bigger city and I want to be closer to home.
Yeah, and
So
a lot of Californians, I have two close friends that have moved to Raleigh. I
mhm,
think because there's more opportunity and the cost of living is a little bit less, you know, to buy a place,
mhm,
you
yeah.
know. Um, okay, so but I want to go back a little bit. So how did this happen where you got recruited to be you're an on-air reporter, right? For
Mhm.
the ABC affiliate, is that what it is?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm a on-air like broadcast reporter for ABC 45.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Triad, like I was saying, like there's Greensboro, Winston, and High Point,
Mm-hmm.
and then like more counties that we cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I go live. I make stories. I covered a lot of things. I covered shootings, fires, money going into housing. Jill Biden was here one time. Yeah, like I've covered a lot
Oh, wow.
out here.
Um,
Yeah.
so you worked hard when you were with us in Huntington Beach
Yep.
and do you think you're working a lot harder now? I mean, were you doing,
Ooh. Yeah, I do. I do. I think that because now I have to have a story every day. Like
really?
it's not, yeah, every day, 5 days a week,
Oh my
I do a story.
gosh.
Yeah, I don't have a cameraman.
So you're like a one-man band? Like
I'm
it's
a
you?
one-man band.
You don't
Yeah.
have to edit though, do you?
No, I do.
Oh
But
my.
that's not for long. That's like I mean, like basically news is everyone kind of starts like this. I got lucky that I got into a market this big.
Mm,
Usually people start in smaller areas that have less of a population. Like with all the work I did at HB 33, it
mm-hmm,
helped me get a job here.
mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, no, it's harder. It's harder to be a one man band at a real station.
I can
It's
only
ins-
imagine because at least Joel would probably be would help you out once in a while if we needed to, you know, like if you were running late or whatever, you know.
yeah, no, here it's like it's real. But I mean, there's real benefits to it too.
A lot of money. No, I'm kidding. Or more
Yeah,
money.
I get paid. I get paid. I get a I make connections with like important in the community. I get to go out every day and it's like an adventure every single day. So yeah.
That's great. I'm so happy for you. Now, how did this happen? So, you did you get a job before you graduated or like right after you graduated?
So I got a job a month after I graduated.
It was
I grad
it
Yeah,
was
I graduated. Huh?
You must have been so happy, you know?
I was, yeah. I didn't really understand though how difficult it is to get a job because of that experience. Because I started looking for jobs after this one, and it
Hmm.
was a lot more difficult. Like the search is a lot more difficult. But like a month after, I found a job here, and I just took it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great. And so your parents must have been sad though that you were moving away, huh, to North Carolina?
Oh yeah, they're still bummed, but I have plans to get closer
Oh,
after this
I mean,
contract.
after you get experience and you could probably get a job closer to home. So are
Mhm.
you on a contract? Like, is it
Yeah,
a year to year or what?
it was 2 years.
Okay.
It's gonna end on August 21st in a month. So
Maybe you've been there 2 years already.
that's it. I've been here 2 years. Yeah, I've covered a lot. I've seen a lot. I'm like a North Carolinian at this point. I feel like I know some of these cities better than the locals because they just send me on so many stories, like a story a day. You know
Oh.
what I mean? I've been to like pretty much every part of all three of these cities. Yeah.
So let me think about this. So now, you told me how you got the job. Was it a culture shock when you first moved there? I mean, you grew up in California, Southern California. Was it a
Yes.
culture shock?
Oh yeah. It was a culture shock. Yeah. Like there is, and this is not to knock on Greensboro or any other like middle-sized city.
Hmm. Hmm.
There is so much money in Southern California. It is insane.
Hmm.
Like it is, and because there's so many places in America that just have a normal amount of money, and
Sure.
Greensboro, Winston is a place like that.
Right.
It's like the rest of America. Yeah, but when I go home and stuff, like I'm used to going to the Spectrum, and it's like lots of really nice cars. Everything is super clean. It's huge. There's like so much entertainment and everything you could ever want. You know what I mean? There's like 4 Teslas at the stoplight, like in Irvine. Here's it's a lot more like normal. It's you have a downtown, and the downtown is so big, and there's nice things there, but there's also places that aren't like just ridiculously lavish, like you can find in Orange County.
I know, I know. I remember the first time I moved away from Orange County, and I was like, "Gosh!" But when I went to school, everybody was driving Porsches, you know.
Yeah, 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 that's exactly, yeah.
But I'm
Um,
not saying that's a good thing, people. It's like, I mean, there's a
I
happy medium, right?
yeah, I don't think it's like good or bad, you know, there's I'm as a reporter, I meet all sorts of people.
Right,
There's
right.
values from like everyone you can talk to. You can learn something from everyone.
Sure, of course. Yeah, and I
So,
don't. That's why someone asked me the other day. It was a friend of mine who was doing some movie projects, and he was like, "Do you ever get intimidated by, because he gets intimidated sometimes when he's around super wealthy people, you know?" And I go, "No, I don't, for several reasons. Because in Orange County there was always so much wealth, a lot of new wealth that I would see all the time. So money didn't really I could see how money can come and go and how you can make lots of money, you can lose lots of money. So I'm not intimidated by that. And also, rich people are usually, and almost a lot of times, are not as, it's nothing to do with their value system. So if somebody was lucky, or they got a really good business idea, or they just worked really hard, they acquired a lot of money, doesn't mean that they're a better person than someone that doesn't have money, you know? So I'm not intimidated by wealthy people at all. So, but it is nice to be around new things and clean things, and that's what money does allow you to do too, right?
yeah, yeah, I mean, it's all like I said, like you can learn something from like every type of person.
Sure.
Uh, and when you're I like that you said that you're not like intimidated because
Hmm.
like neither am I really. You just kind of when you're like comfortable with yourself, it doesn't really matter too much. Um, but I guess
Yeah, that's true. When you're a
the,
secure person, if you're insecure, you can be intimidated by many different things, right?
Yeah. So like for me, I've had I like doing news and stuff like that. I have my cat. I like cats. I like skateboarding. Like if I have those things, I meet who I meet, and I'm okay with it.
Right.
Um,
You're a.
but
I'm just gonna make a joke. I can cut this out too if I want. But you're a childless cat man.
How long have you been here? What do you think? Is it better than other places you've been? Do you find the food pretty good? Are you having a good time? I'm here with my friend Phil Sterling. Phil, what are you going to do on Valentine's Day?
yeah, basically, I'm a
right
cat dad.
Yeah, well, right now there's this big thing going on. I don't know if you've been watching the politics, but
I heard about that.
yeah.
I don't know. Explain more about it because I didn't go into it. I just saw a headline that said like,
Well, okay, I guess it's JD Vance said this a long time ago, or 3 years or so ago, that basically the Democrats are being led by a lot of people that don't have children, like Kamala Harris doesn't have kids, and what's his name, Pete Buttigieg doesn't have kids, but he's got I'm not sure if his kids are adopted or if someone
yeah,
had kids through a surrogate. But anyway, so JD Vance said basically the Democratic Party is being run by all these people without kids, and that if you don't have kids, you're not as invested in what's going to happen to America. So he said basically,
yeah,
we were being run by a bunch of women with cats. So I was like, so you're a man with cats,
yeah. I guess so.
right?
I'm not running a party, so I
No,
mean,
that's
I
true.
don't
That's true.
count. Yeah, but I mean, to be honest with you, like as a younger person, like having kids is expensive, yo. Like it's that
Well,
is not cheap,
let's get
So
real here, right? Well,
yeah,
yeah, that's the thing too. I just saw in the news that a lot of people, more than half people of younger people, are not having kids. It's not like, say, even 10, 15, 20 years ago, because people are reassessing, like it's so expensive to have kids,
yeah,
so.
yeah,
And also maybe for religion, mainstream religion isn't quite as predominant as it used to be. So it used to be for more, like if you were a certain religion, you'd have to have more kids. So
yeah. I think it like when it comes to like religion and stuff, I think it like wanes or whatever. Like I mean, I guess this is just a personal opinion, but I do see like younger kids, like the Zoomers, like they have like earrings with like a cross on it and stuff. So like, I don't think it's like completely gone religion or anything,
mm-hmm.
but like when people are younger, I mean, this is just a guess, but I think younger people aren't that into religion just because they're like,
Might be a
they're
good
young.
observation. You're not thinking about your mortality so much. You're not
No,
thinking about like the future or having families as much. And when
yeah,
you start to think about having a family, sometimes you think, oh, do I want to raise them a certain religion, or guide them with ethics and morals and things like that, right? So
yeah, you're like young, you're just figuring out everything. You don't even know what you are, like you're like, do I like basketball? Do I like, let
do I like
alone
the
a
Knicks or do I like the Lakers? No, okay.
yeah, so I don't know. That's just a guess.
Yeah. Well, there's probably many reasons, not just one reason, right? About religion, I mean. So this was another thing I wanted to ask you too. Like in North Carolina, do you notice, or at least in where you're living in the town, is it more conservative, or is it more Republican or Democrat, or is it kind of a mix of both?
Yeah, so in the towns it's like more liberal, and then outside in the rural areas it's more
Hmm.
conservative.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And so
Yeah.
on your station, do you feel like you guys are more of a conservative type station, or do you feel like
Oh, well, I mean, like in the station,
Mhm.
there's no bias at all, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah, in my opinion, well, what I've gone through so far in local news,
mhm.
like at all. We just cover whatever is going on,
Mhm.
and that is it. If we cover like a political thing,
Mhm.
um, it's like we literally by law have to get both sides. Like we can't have yeah, if we have one person speak, we need to have like the other side. So yeah, it's been unbiased completely.
Oh wow,
Uh,
that's good to hear. That gives me hope. I was thinking, you always hear the stories like that. It's stations, they leave things out, but it sounds like you guys are
yeah,
pretty, right?
yeah. Yeah, and also you have to understand, like within local news, you're mostly covering, not saying that even when we did cover things like abortion or anything like that, like
Mhm.
not saying that we did anything there because nothing happened there biasly.
Mhm.
There was no bias in those stories either. But like most of the time, we're covering like a crime, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, or a new building or
Right.
housing or something. They're not even really political stances a lot of the time. It's just like, there's trash surrounding this area and like they want it cleaned up. So yeah.
Today's
Um,
news story, big trash day,
yeah, or somebody was murdered here and they had a kid in a cage. It's not really like a politically biased thing. It's just like the police said, yeah. So yeah.
So, what was going to ask you? So, how's the homeless problem and all that? I know you live in a medium-sized town, so
Yeah.
is there
They,
homelessness at all?
yes, there are homeless here. Like
Mm,
they're homeless on a lot of the off ramps and stuff like that in Greensboro.
sad.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was listening to like a city council meeting, and it was an issue, in amongst city council members in Greensboro. There's homeless in Winston-Salem too. I didn't mention this before, but Krispy Kreme started in
Oh,
Winston-Salem,
they
and
did?
yeah, and Camel cigarettes also started in
Camel?
Winston-Salem.
Camel
Yeah,
cigarettes? Oh,
yeah, yeah. Like tobacco is like a big deal in North Carolina.
you mean
Um,
people smoking? People smoking a
no, no,
lot?
no, like literally like making tobacco apparently
Oh,
is a big deal. Um, yeah, but yeah, there's homeless in like Winston-Salem too. It depends where you look, like I feel like it's kind of like LA too, where in LA there's homeless kind of everywhere. In in here there isn't really like that many homeless as there are in LA, but
mhm.
there are like certain places you can go, just like there's like Skid Row in LA where it's just like, okay, like there's homeless people here. Yeah. So
It's interesting. I
yeah.
didn't think there would be any homeless. Well, I mean, a few, but I didn't think it would be like a problem in North
No,
Carolina.
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
You escape it, right? It's just like wherever you go, Orange
Yep.
County's still not so. I mean, I guess because I'm mostly in LA, so I'm always like, Orange County to me doesn't seem like it has hardly any, but every once
Yeah.
in a while you'll see one by the freeway, a person standing by the freeway,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like in Orange County, especially in like Irvine, it feels like there's no homeless people at all anywhere. Actually, even in the in the beach cities, I don't really see any homeless people in Orange County that much. But like when you go into LA and you make it to like Venice Beach, oh my
Sure.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's crazy. Even the valley, because I spent a lot of time in the San Fernando Valley, and it never was like that before, but now it's like a lot. It's
yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned Asheville because apparently there's a lot of homeless people in Asheville now. I don't know why, but they're like,
um,
yeah.
because
So,
it's considered like a liberal town, like and artsy,
mm,
and whenever it's liberal and artsy, a lot of people gravitate towards that area because they probably think that they're going to be more accepting. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
possibly, yeah. I have no idea. I mean,
Um, yeah. So now I want to ask you this. So Phil, how do you feel about being a reporter? You still love it? Is it everything you thought it was going to be, or is it different?
oh, oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that's a can of worms, right? Because some people listening to this and watching this will want to know, like, this is your first job being a reporter. And
Yeah.
what's your time slot, by the way? Are you on at a certain time, like on camera?
Yeah, like I'm dayside, so I show up at like 9:45 and my day ends at 6,
Hmm.
but I need to have like my story in at 5:30.
Hmm.
Um but like sometimes, I won't do just I won't do one story, I'll do two stories, but they're like mini stories,
Mhm, mhm.
so it's always like the same kind of amount of work. Um, but it's crazy. It's like you're like a soldier. You have to have a story every day, like two ideas that you bring in. But sometimes you go into your email list and you get a story, but you still have to schedule the interview. You go out, record the interview, you get the footage, you come back, you write the script, you edit, and then you put it in the system, and then you also put it online every day, 5 days a week.
So do you ever get stories that get rejected, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time. Like, if you pitch a story that either isn't that important compared to something else that's going on that day or is just a dud, uh, it gets rejected, but the worst thing actually is when it gets accepted, but the, like, interviews don't happen, and
Oh,
now you're, like, 2 hours into the day, but you still have to have a story by, like, 5:30, right? So
mhm.
now you're working on, like, a smaller time scale to do the same thing, yeah.
Wow. Jeez,
Yeah.
a lot of stress. Do you have to get up early? I mean, I'm just wondering, like, are you stressed? Like, do you sleep okay?
Yeah, yeah, I sleep okay. The thing that I learned being a reporter is, just do your best,
Right.
just do your best. Show up, do your best, do your work, and your news director, your coworkers, they'll notice, and even if your stories all fall through and you didn't get anything, everyone will know that you did what you could, um, and they'll be okay with that for the most part. If
Mhm,
you don't get a story for a long time, which, you know, to give an example, I went 6 months with always making a story, and then
mhm,
4th of July came around, everyone was on vacation, it was really hard to get an interview, and that's when one didn't, like, go through, and I didn't have anything. But,
mhm.
like, you're just do your best and people will notice and you'll be fine, in my opinion. So that always keeps me sane, that keeps me from, like, stressing out really bad. Um,
Well, that's
but
good. That's good. Um,
yeah.
and are were people nice to you when you first went there? Like, were they looking at you like, "Oh, here's the new guy, and we're going to help him"? I mean, did you get a lot of support from the people around you?
Yeah, because the job is really tough.
Mhm.
So, it's well, I'm telling you, you're like a soldier. Like, when you're like a soldier, it's almost like a camaraderie. You wanna help somebody. You don't
Mhm.
wanna, like you don't want your coworker
That's
to
true.
feel bad because you're in the same position. So you do what you can to help them, and they might help you tomorrow.
That's
And,
true.
like
Yeah. That's a good
yeah,
analogy that you're like a soldier in the army because in an army you have to all work together, right? Or
yeah.
guys are gonna go, meow.
Yeah, exactly, you know what I mean? It's like a camaraderie, that's, like, the best way to put it. Yeah.
Good for you. Well, I'm so glad that then it sounds like you got nice people that you're working with. So what do you do? Do you have 1 or 2 days off a week?
I have 2 days off a week, so, Saturday, Sunday.
Just like
Yeah, huh?
just like a normal job.
Yeah, I'm really, really lucky, that I got this job. Yes, it's really hard.
Hmm.
Um, there's there's stuff to complain about, but it's really no one's fault.
Mhm.
It's just the nature of the profession.
Right.
So, I'm just I'm just grateful, you know?
Well,
When you cover so many stories, especially, like, these sad stories, when you hear somebody died, like, from a drunk driver, just hit them
mhm,
oncoming, you know what I mean? Like on a two-lane highway, a drunk driver hit somebody, killed them. You just become more grateful for what you have and the opportunities you have.
mhm, mhm.
So, yeah, I'm thankful, and I'm thankful I have the 2 days off because 'cause I've also met people that they came out of college, they have a degree, and they're working at a job at, like, a intro level job, and they have to work, like, 6 days a week, night shifts sometimes, so, yeah.
Well, you're lucky, but luck to me is like because you worked hard and you have the right personality, and it doesn't sound like you're take anything for granted, you know. And
Yeah.
But you do have to get better with your social media. I've noticed that because
Yeah, I did.
I was looking online. I'm like, where can I find this Phil guy? And it was like, you have your Instagram, which isn't that you don't really talk that much about work. It seems like, right?
Yeah, like I'm not really it goes by how I dress and stuff. Like I'm not really like a glamorous type reporter. Like um I have a social media. I like to use social media. I have like posts on my story and stuff, but I don't know. I'm a skater. Like, you
They're
know what I mean?
at heart.
Yeah, that's like the culture that I kind of grew up in Orange County. That's something that
Right.
I've always taken, like the surf skate culture, you know? So, um, I don't know. I do need to work on that, and I might have more time to work on that with like my second job that I'm trying to get to right now.
And where will that city be? Where will that be? Your second job that you want to get to?
Hold on, let's say Devlin's playing with my computer
Show,
charging cord.
show the
Huh?
show the cat. I
You want
want.
to see him? Okay, so he just got neutered, so he has a cone, but here
Oh,
he is.
oh, my
Yeah,
sweet.
he's sedated too.
He's
Um,
like, I'm so sedated. Get me off camera.
yeah. No, Devlin. No, you can't play, especially right now. You have he basically has a wound he has to like, like not mess up because it happened a few hours ago. But
Yeah.
what was the question?
Oh,
Well,
so where's this second job? You mean you're trying to get another job after this contract is over? Is that what you're saying?
I'm trying to get a job right now. I don't want to talk too much about it
Oh,
because I
right,
like,
right. You don't want to be too.
yeah.
Can you tell me this? Can you tell me if it's in that same area that you're at? I mean,
No,
10
it's close. It's closer. I'm hoping it's closer. And it
minutes?
has. I'll give you like a size too. It has like a population of like 1.4 million. So that I'm trying to get closer to home and do work in a bigger market.
So you can
Um,
skate. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, no, there's probably going to be a lot of like skate parks there too. But
So,
uh,
what's the population of the town you're at now? Did you say? I can't remember.
yeah, so it's like 350,000.
Oh, it is small.
Yeah. So this is like market, 45. There's like 200 markets in news, and it's based on like TV populations.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to move up essentially in the markets. And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, or jinx anything.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
this would be like substantially closer. It would be closer to home. It'd be a bigger market. It'd be not like I wasn't doing a serious job now, but it'd be a serious job. And I'm trying to get a job where I would have a cameraman,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't be a one-man band. Yeah, it's
Remember when you and I worked together? I'd always say like, "I need your help. I need your help."
yeah,
It's not like
yeah.
you only got two people, you know?
Yeah, so when you do have a cameraman though, they'd have me going like live more often. So, they'd
Right,
send
that's
me.
true.
Yeah,
So how many more months do you got left on your contract now?
one.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
One.
So
Yep.
whatever happens in the next chapter, you'll come back, you know, whatever
Closer.
that may be. No, I didn't mean is that you'll come back on my podcast when you get your new position, wherever that may be.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
um, have you talked to anybody? Do you talk to your friends back home, like in Orange County? Do you talk to them often?
Yeah, I have like a few friends that I'm really close with that, I call, and I've had one friend actually come here with his fiance.
Really?
So, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here. I mean, I didn't get to mention this in the
Mhm.
culture shock part besides like the wealth of Orange County, but there's like a lot of historic cool stuff that I'm sure you saw in Asheville.
Mhm, mhm.
Like there's like brick buildings everywhere. There's like a women's academy in Winston-Salem
Oh
that
wow.
was founded in 1774, so like 2 years before America was a country.
Right.
And it looks like a European village in like in America. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. There's because that's the negative thing about Orange County and Southern California in general is everything is so new. Lots of
Yeah,
times have like these old buildings, Um,
Yeah. I
yeah,
do like I do like how nice things are in Orange County. Like everything's like really clean and stuff and
right,
new.
right.
But this also has like a charm, especially in the fall when like the leaves are orange and everything and you're walking past like an old house. Like,
I
you know
know,
what I mean?
I know. That's a lot of my friends from the East Coast. They're always like that. They miss the change of seasons. But to be honest with you, I mean, I like the beauty of the seasons and going to see it, but I like being around more moderate weather because wow. So I'm so glad that you came on. And any advice you got? Do you have any advice for anybody? Like, if you're trying to get into being a reporter, what would you say is the one thing that is the best advice you could give to anybody, if you had any?
Oh, dang, like advice for a reporter. Let me think about that for a
Yeah.
second.
If you, was there anything you would have done differently? Like, I mean, I know it all happened for you, got the job right away, but is there anything you wish that you would have known about, like when
Oh, that I would have known about.
you came to North Carolina?
I think that it was what I expected. I think it's really hard to do. Being a reporter is not easy. Don't come into it thinking that it's like a regular job. It's not. There's going to be days that you hear your friends have like a day off or something, or like they have an hour lunch. Like, well, guess what? You have a 5-minute lunch and you're going to just try to grab McDonald's, on the way back to the station while calling people. So it's a really intense job and you have to be ready for that. But at the same time, you're doing real like work.
It's true.
Like when you're hanging out with your friends, people want to know what they're going to ask you what you were doing. They want to ask you about the nurse that was killing people. You know what I mean? Like that story. Yeah, like they like not to be mean to other professions, but like they're a lot more boring than your profession. Like I can't stress this enough. Every single day is an adventure. Like
That's true. You definitely will not get bored at your job, right?
no,
And I
no.
think that's why people stay there for so long. That's the one thing too. I've noticed, like in California, the reporters that you see on, like, say, ABC, NBC, whatever, it's the same reporters as from like 20 years ago. Like, it seems like once you get a job in a good market, you'll always have a job there. That's what it seems like to me.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really looked at it, but if they are, yeah, if they're there for like a long time, it's probably a good job.
That's true. Like, they don't leave, right?
Yeah. Also, the LA market is I've not. This is just speculation, but it's completely different than like what I'm doing right now. They probably have more than a cameraman. They probably have like a makeup department, like all these things. They probably show up and everything is just set up. But
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I mean, I don't know.
I think they do, because I remember one time I was at on the ABC lot for something else, and I saw this weatherman there who's still there. I think his name's Dallas Rains. I remember he was just getting his makeup done or something, and I was like, God, everybody here, even the weather people, they're just getting their makeup done all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I followed one reporter that was at like he went to Cal State Fullerton, then he got a job at KABC in LA. I saw a setup for a live shot. They had like 3 light stands up, and like it looked like they were in Hollywood. They like, you know what I mean? It didn't
Oh,
look like
well,
they were
yeah.
shooting
But
for
the good thing,
breaking news. Yeah.
but the good
Huh?
thing, the way that you're doing it, though, is that you're really working hard and you're doing it the hard way. So if you get a job where you got all these people helping you, it's going to be like amazing for you. You're going to be like, this is like hardly working.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is too, I mean, there might be some that didn't do it like how I did it, but a lot of them did. Amazingly enough, a lot of people, you can track their journey. Like one lady that was our anchor, Camilla Rambaldi, uh, she went from like Montana to San Antonio to LA. Like she's a reporter in LA now. So a lot of almost everyone's like starts from these random little cities and then they just slowly but quietly move up and then move up and then move. Like if you look at the reporters in KBC, like there's a reason they're there for the most part. They have experience in so many different things. So yeah, that's another thing about the job.
Yeah.
In what I meant, like you're a soldier, is you literally they're shipping you out like to another place, and then you're shipped again, and you're shipped again. So yeah.
That's so funny. Oh, I forgot to ask you this. So with the election coming up, are
Mhm.
you getting like ramped up to get involved in that? Or, I know you told me Jill Biden was out there, but is it really, the town must be getting pretty into the election, right?
Yeah. I'm not like I remember in Orange County, I saw like people with like Trump tents and stuff like that. I haven't seen a single one of those here for some
Really?
weird reason.
And
I think there's
I thought they would be more conservative where you are, you know?
yeah, that's why I think it's weird. Like there's no tents like for anything. There's no like Trump tents, there's no Biden tent. Well, now Kamala, I guess, tents.
Right.
But I don't know because I have a month left. So yeah, if I do cover it, they're just gonna. I've already covered like there was like the Republican convention in Greensboro.
Right.
You go and you show up and you just report on what's happening. That's pretty much it. You get an interview.
Your cat's on the bed.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah. He's playing with toys and stuff. So
Um,
yeah.
yeah, well, that's interesting. Okay, because yeah, when I was in Asheville, but I started off in Georgia because my friend lives in Georgia, and it was kind of very Trump, a lot of Trump stuff. Even though actually he wasn't really running just yet when I was in Georgia, so I thought that was interesting. There were still a lot of people that were into Trump. So
Mhm.
it will be interesting to see, but you're going to be probably out of there onto your next job when the election happens.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like exact. Or I'll be there like right when it happens, or like right up to it. The other thing too that I've heard is like a lot of people. There's like a lot of stories to do and a lot of income for news stations, just because like it's the election cycle and more people are watching news. So
Right.
that's a good thing for the industry because it means like just more stability in an industry that's already kind of like unpredictable.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Yeah.
Well, I'm very proud of you, and I just wanted to say, that I'm glad that you're doing something you really love. And like I said, your next job is going to be a lot easier, knock on wood.
I hope so. I mean, they could have me doing. It could be a grind in a different way, but if I do get to a city with a population of like 1.5 million, that's already bucket list thing, right? At that point, I'm like, I did what I did, right? I'm happy with what I've accomplished. So,
So
yeah.
you're KABC, well, ABC. What exactly is the name of your station? One more time. It's
Yeah, so I'm with ABC 45, which is we're the smallest station in the Triad. But this is also another thing that's like really interesting that people don't really realize. That I think that you'll find interesting is there's like ABC is like a franchise. You know how Chick-fil-A, how like
yeah.
anyone can own a Chick-fil-A, they just have to be vetted by Chick-fil-A.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same thing. Like we're owned actually by Sinclair. Sinclair is like a big company, and then they franchise ABC to run ABC. But Sinclair also owns Fox stations.
Wait, are you talking about Sinclair Paints? Because isn't that a company that owns? Maybe it's just a different Sinclair, right?
It's probably yeah, it's a different Sinclair. Like this is Sinclair Broadcasting, but
Oh,
like you'll see that. So people will think it's kind of funny. People will think like, oh, like I watch ABC because it's related to ABC, or I watch Fox because it's related to Fox News. Well, what's funny is like Sinclair owns Fox channels, but
oh,
they also own ABC channels.
that's
And
interesting.
I'd be willing to guess that like Hearst does the same. So like these companies franchise the logo, but they're actually owned by like the parent company, which is like Sinclair or Hearst or
Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, because when you said ABC 45, I just thought it was like an affiliate of ABC, maybe in Southern California, but you're just saying
It,
they just,
it is an affiliate, but not like a hard affiliate. It's not like owned by ABC. There
Mhm,
are stations that are owned by ABC that
mhm.
are local, but that's not one of ours. We're
Okay.
owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, but we're still affiliated, as in like it's complicated. But what I'm saying is it's not so straightforward as the general public
Would
thinks.
think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's part of the cachet of them getting that name because ABC is kind of a big name, like at least out here in California, right? So,
yeah, yeah,
so they say ABC, you think, ooh, it's a big station, you know.
yeah. I mean, I would imagine that that's why those companies choose to franchise with ABC or with Fox because then people will tune in because they'll be like, oh, like that's a legitimate name.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true.
yeah.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I know you can't say anything about your, your next thing, but soon. Oh, and so yeah, so get better on your social media because I want to start, I want to see what you're doing, not just skating. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But that you could be the skating reporter.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is really funny though, because personally, I think no one really took me seriously, to be honest with you, when I was in
Like your
university.
parents and or anybody or what?
It's because I was like a skater, just like from that culture, and that, in my opinion, there's not a lot of dudes that go into news that are like in skating and stuff. Like I just think that they didn't really take me seriously. And like here I am.
Here you
So
are, yeah, and
yeah, but huh?
and your parents probably, but you did the best thing because you probably majored in journalism. Did you major in? I can't remember. Did you?
Yeah. Mhm. Journalism with the emphasis in like communications with an emphasis in broadcast journalism. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. And so, did you think Cal State Fullerton had a good department, journalism department?
Yes. Yeah. They have their own like studio down there too, like in the basement of the library.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where you learned to
Um,
edit and everything.
yeah, and my one teacher was an anchor, a sports anchor in Phoenix,
Hmm.
and another teacher was a national reporter with ABC.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, good teachers. So yeah,
Good, good.
one of them was like he worked for New York Times. I don't know if he was a reporter, but I mean, Southern California, that's what I was gonna say is when you said like how good Cal State Fullerton is, people want to live in in Southern California, and with that comes all that experience, that
That's
all these people
true.
bring.
That's true. I mean, no, I liked it's a state school, but I really liked it. I learned a lot. Um, I don't have any regrets going there. And like I said, for me, it was because music was important to me, and so I was able to do English and music and all that. But no, it was a really good school. I always did think in my mind, am I going to go back and get my master's? I'm always thinking about that. But I don't know. I haven't counted it out totally.
Mhm.
You're too
Mhm.
busy to do that now. You don't need your master's, so.
Oh no, I mean no. Like,
You're like, once I
no.
got the bachelor's degree, I'm out of there.
Yeah, the resume is pretty good right now, so
That's true.
and I'm trying to get that second reporter job now at another station, and if I
When you
do
can't,
get,
when you can't
huh?
talk about, the one you can't talk about.
Yeah, the one that I just don't wanna jinx it, I don't wanna, and if you say you're like a local ne if you say you're a local news reporter with in a city with that population, it's already pretty good, for your resume.
That's good. No, you're
Yeah,
gonna go. You're gonna be fine.
yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go. And Phil Sterling, ABC 45. That's you.
Yep. Uh-huh.
All right. And next time, I expect you to wear a suit and tie. Though. I'm kidding.
Alright.